I'm going to cut the cross today, so I'm just going to go ahead and upload the cross, find it on my machine. Mine has, because I'm on Windows 10 and I'm using Microsoft Edge, it's right here. This is an SVG. I'm going to insert it here. Then you can tag it and save it. Select it here, click on it, and then insert the image here. And you'll see it's sized to go on a 12 by 12. I'm going to resize it to go on an 8.5 by 11. I'm going to do that by just simply typing in the box. And because Cricut has that 0.5 border around the object, I'm going to select an 8. It'll automatically resize the height accordingly because it's locked. So if you want to unlock it and change it, you can. You can check the little lock there or down here, and then just drag this up and down to however you want it. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. All right, so I should have an 8 by 9.17, and you can check to make sure that it will cut on an 8.5 by 11. We'll show you how. So over here, you can kind of gauge that it is going to cut in half. This is the area that I'm talking about, that little 0.5 there. If you click down on the material size and you don't see an 8.5 by 11, then it's going to go over. If you only see the 9 by 12 and you try to cut it, it's going to cut off an edge. So you want to make sure that when you come over here, you do have your 8.5 by 11 selected. And now you can see that this little 0.5 area is here. Now you can do the 9 by 12 and you can gauge whether or not that edge is going to cut off. It's a little risky. I've cut it before and it did cut off, so I just err on the side of caution, leave the little extra. Besides, if I'm going to frame this in an 8 by 10, I will want that little extra space there anyway, so that's just a little tip there. Over here it's showing you the colors that I've chosen for my project. This is not exactly the way that it will show on the mat. So I'm going to show you just a little bit how I do this. This is the order in which they're going to print. So just to get an idea of how I want my papers laid out, I'll do this first and then lay my papers out in the order that I want them, because I'm not necessarily going to cut them in these colors. So it's nice to take it apart and then layer colors down. So let me show you what I mean. When we go to make it, it starts with the white layer. So if you go through each mat and then put your paper in order of the way it's going to cut, then you won't have any problems with the cut coming out on the wrong color. And never mind the colors on the mat, you can use any colors you want. You can change the colors on your design. Let me show you. Like for example, if I'm going to make this a different color, I have some other colors that I'm going to use instead. I can simply just select that so that it's printing on the mat, and then I know which colors and which order to put the colors of my paper. So that's just a little trick that I've used over time. So we're going to go back to make it. My papers are now sorted in the colors that I want them. We'll hit continue. Now it's looking for my Bluetooth. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, now 2 of my layers are glitter cardstock, so I probably will go ahead and select the glitter cardstock, because if I select cardstock, regular cardstock, it won't cut the glitter all the way through, but it will cut the other layers. So if I select the glitter cardstock, it will cut all paper. It'll cut the regular cardstock and the glitter. So I'm good with that. I'm going to go ahead and select more pressure. This won't hurt anything. But it certainly will cut through the glitter cardstock that I'm using. There's no tool required in the clamp A, whereas normally you would put a pen to write with. The second one is the load fine point blade. That's the one we're going to be using. And now it's prompting me to load the mat with the paper on it for the first matte. And you can tell which one it's printing because it's highlighted a lighter gray. If you wanted to start with another one, you certainly can. You can choose whichever one you want to start to cut. And if you wanted to cut more layers, we would have selected that on the other screen. And then we'll go ahead and load and make the cross. Okay, so this is how we're going to assemble the cross. So I've got my layers here just to show you what they look like. These were the cutouts of the hearts. Okay, so that's the way they go. Now these are the micro dots. And if you can see the micro Papa Dots adhesives from Forever in Time. They're teeny tiny, and that's what we'll use on the white layer. And I'm going to go ahead and do that one first. So this is a little tedious, but I think you'll get it. So I'm going to put it, that's my front layer, this is my bottom layer, and then I'll flip it over. Alright, so these are teeny tiny to work with, but they're the best things for these very intricate pieces. So I'm just going to put a couple there on the edges, and then a couple around here. They kind of come off all at once because they're so tiny, but that's all right. You can separate them with your fingers, or you could use tweezers. I'll put a couple on the little circles there too. Just try to find the best place to put them so they won't show through. Okay. Or you could just glue this to this layer. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to see how this works with these pop dots. All right, now the tricky part, of course, is going to be getting off the top layer because they're so tiny. It doesn't want to come off. Tricky. This is very tricky. Just using my fingernails to grab that paper layer. Okay, got that one. That one. I'll hold it, kind of pick them off. Go. That should be good. So this cross is really relatively easy to cut and obviously to put together. It'll be pretty for Easter, and I like the purple colors because that goes with Easter as well. start at the bottom, go up. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now, there are the cutouts that you'll have. We have the bigger heart and the littler heart, so you could put those on top of each other and put them in the middle and have them stand out further. I had cut a silver layer. Unfortunately, the glitter paper wasn't long enough, so it didn't cut out properly, but I still had the heart left over. So I think what I'm going to do is do a 3D layered heart to put right there in the middle. But this is fine too, but you could do something like that to make it pop a little bit more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the 3 layers that I have cut, because I want it to really pop out far. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach to the bottom layer. I'm going to use 3. I know that's kind of a lot, but I want it to make sure that this stands out. And then I'm going to layer another pop on top of it, because I want it to come out farther. On the cross. So when I put this on, it's going to pop out further than that last layer. And then let's see if I can get it on there correctly. So now you can see it is popping out a little bit further. And then I'm just going to offset it just a little bit so you can see how it is. I might even want to put another layer and get that up. So that's why you don't press them down too hard, because if you do need to pull it apart, they're easier to pull off. So I'll put another layer. It's going to be like the tower, the heart tower. Okay, let's get it on there. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, you'll see it's sticking out a lot further from the cross. Okay, I'm just going to get it on there good and then lift it up just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put the silver on top of that. Make sure I got it going the right way and I'm putting them on the right side. I was going to do 1 layer on this. Put that on top of that one. Yeah, that's sticking out really nice. Now, that's pretty. You could just leave it like that. Or you can put the blue on top. The little heart on top. I don't know, I kind of like it like that. I think that's really pretty. Alright, so that's basically how you put the heart together. You can certainly use all kinds of different design papers, and you can use this one or not use it to give your design a good look. And that's all I have for you. You can find this design and more instructions on craftroomtime.com/cross. And I hope to see you there.